Custer State Park doing a sunrise hike. First up, we've got the Cathedral Spires trail. This one's about 2.5 miles long. It's rated as difficult, even though that doesn't make a ton of sense because it was not the hardest hike we did. There definitely is some elevation change on this hike, and some parts where you have to climb up these rocks like this. But once you get past this short section, it's really not bad at all. This clearing is the end of the trail. This opens up, there's some nice views. We sat here for a while and just took it all in. Next up, we drive to the next hike. We had to pass through some tunnels like this, and it was pretty tight, but you kind of got used to it. We did this a few times throughout the weekend. Our next hike started from Sylvan Lake. There are 5 hikes that start from here, which was pretty nice. The first hike we did from here was the Sunday Gulch. It's a 3.9 mile strenuous hike due to the elevation gain and the footing. Unfortunately, we couldn't do all of it. Part of it was closed due to ice and snow, which you'll see in a second here. So this is the part that was closed. We could not get through here at all. It goes way down into the rocks, and it was just, 3-4 feet of snow the whole way down. The higher parts of the trail had cool views of the Cathedral Spires and other rocky parts of the hills. There are some other cool features like this little tunnel here. You don't have to go through it, but I tried just to see if I could do it. After the Sunday Gulch, we did Little Devil's Tower. We knew nothing about this hike going into it, but we both agreed it was our favorite hike. It's short, with a lot of climbing, and the views at the top were the best that we had all week. Later on, we found out that there's actually a separate parking lot for the Little Devil's Tower trail. We could have saved ourselves maybe half a mile on each end, which is what we did the second time that we hiked this trail. As you can see here, it's starting to get more rocky. This is the part of the trail where the elevation gain really picks up, and it started to get more difficult. Eventually, the walking part of the trail stops, and you reach the climbing portion. This trail overall is really safe, but it did require good flexibility and strength to get up through this part. So the climbing has been very hard so far, but the view is worth it.
Worth it.
Very cool. But we still have more to do. We're going up the sky, so. All right, we're almost there. Views are pretty sweet
close.
though. Almost there. Here we are approaching the top. Didn't take us that long to get here. The whole hike took us about 2 hours, and that's with us stopping for 20 minutes at the top. So if you only have one day in Custer State Park, this is probably the hike to do because you have awesome views, the whole experience is great, and it's pretty short overall. So it's hard to see, but way up there, that's where we're going tonight, that little house. See that right there? That's the back of Mount Rushmore. And then those guys over here, that's where we went this morning. Little Devil's Tower. What do you think?
Yay.
Yeah, awesome. Coolest hike so far. I think coolest hike I've ever done so far.
Hardest hike.
Hardest.
Yeah.
Definitely one of them.
But totally worth it in the end.
Yeah. Okay, so we got Little Devil's Tower from Sylvan Lake. That's where we started.
Yep.
About 4 miles, 2 hours.
Not too shabby.
Would recommend.
Beautiful.
Very cool.
Worth it.
Yeah, best one so far. Here's the wildlife loop. Check out all the wildlife.
We just started.
So much wildlife. All right, a few miles later, still no wildlife. We're gonna see some though. They're gonna come. All the buffalo.
So many buffalo.
All right, this guy's getting out of his car, maybe because of the wildlife. Let's see. No, false alarm.
He's just getting out of his car to get out of his car.
Yeah. All right, we got 2 way out there. You can barely see them. We've got some wildlife.
We found it.
The wildlife loop can be hit or miss for whether or not you see the bison. This footage is compiled from 2 different times that we did it. Overall, I would recommend. It took us about an hour each time to drive it, and that's with all these stops and going slow. But overall, it was really cool, nice scenery, and it's a good thing to do if you're not feeling like going on a hike and you just want to experience a little more of nature from your car. We finished the day with a sunset hike at Black Elk Peak. It's a 7 or 8 mile trail depending on how you do it. Since we were coming back in the dark, we took the same way out and back. But there is an option to make it a loop and take 2 different trails. So we took the number 9 trail both ways. There is an option where you could do the number 9 out and the number 4 on the way back, and that is the loop you can make. You can see way up there. That's where we're going, that little house. Right up there.
Okay, we better go.
This hike is a pretty traditional hiking trail until you reach the very summit. At the end, there's this old lookout house, and it's a lot of stairs to get up to the top. All right, we're about 2 miles in. Trail number 9, Black Elk Peak. And we're still pretty low, so I think this last mile is going to be very vertical.
Yes.
But
Let's do it.
It's been cool. So I'm starting to think that the map lied to us. We're 2.5 miles in. It's supposed to be 3 miles to the top, and we haven't climbed all that much. since our second mile. So we'll see. Okay, now we've been climbing a whole lot more. I think we're getting close, but we can't really see the end, so who knows? So we just hit 3 miles. Not at the end yet, but we're close. I can feel it. Got to get at least up there. Here we are approaching the top. It's the old fire lookout house. I have no idea how they built this place because it's pretty old and it's really high up here. But once you get to the top, the views are amazing. Here we are at the top. This was one of the best things that we did. It was so cool up here. You can see we're bundled up. It was a lot colder once we got to the top because you're pretty exposed to the wind. But we stayed up here for about an hour and watched the sunset, and it was just amazing. Once we decided it was time to turn back, we tried to hurry down as quick as we could. We had headlights and stuff, but we just wanted to spend as little time in the dark as possible. Overall, this was a pretty busy day. We did 4 hikes. They added up to about 16 miles, and we got to see a lot of cool things. Once this hike was over, it was about an hour drive back to our hotel in Rapid City.